Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
Such an exciting episode of Spill the Tea, guys. I've been invited for a staycation in Mumbai. Actually, my first time doing that. We are both moms, so we know just how rare this opportunity is. But guess what? I'm going to let you guys join me for my cozy catch-up with Lara Dutta.
Hi!
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me to a staycation.
Most welcome.
Loving the look. Lara, welcome to Spill the Tea, our little staycation. Thank you for being such a sport.
Not at all. I thought since we're getting into the mood, I might as well get comfy and be in my pajamas. Why not?
This is amazing. It is such a refreshing change as well. I have to tell you, we haven't met ever before.
No.
But our paths have crossed because turns out we went to the same school.
Oh, really?
And I know this because I won a rolling trophy that already had your name engraved on
Was
it.
it Francis Xavier's or
It
Francis?
was Francis Xavier's.
Nice.
So, on that note, are you ready to spill the tea?
Of course. I think we should spill it firstly, literally, to start.
Excellent.
Lovely. Nothing like a good cup of chai in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Do you get to do this from time to time?
Have a cup of tea or do interviews in bed?
Just me time.
Yeah, it's rare and few and far between, but I'll take what I get.
Tell me, I'm a mom as well, so I know that it can be rare. So what is the most delicious part of me time for you today? What do you do when you get that time?
So I normally have a morning ritual. I try and wake up before the rest of my family does, which is very difficult to do because I also go to sleep. I'm the last person to go to sleep in my home as well. But I try and wake up if I can and get some part of something in, whatever I can manage depending on the amount of time I have. So if I can manage a little bit of a yoga class, then I do a little bit of a yoga routine. If I can't, then I just do a very quick meditation and pranayama practice. And if I can't do even that, well, then I just say, thank you for waking me up healthy today. And then I hit the ground running. So that's how it is.
Love it, love it. Listen, I know it sounds cliched, but I have to say that the trailer of Hiccups and Hookups is all kinds of bold and edgy.
Yeah.
Did it take a lot of convincing to come on board?
No, I wouldn't say convincing because I've said this in previous interviews that we've done just now for Hiccups and Hookups that, you know, unfortunately in India, we assume that it's only the men in India who are having sex and that the women have no sex life whatsoever. So,
Amen, sister.
I don't know who the men are having sex with if it's not women that they're doing it with, but I mean, let's not go into that. That's like a whole nother topic over there.
Right.
But, you know, it's just that, you know, women are having sex and women of all ages are doing that. But the show isn't necessarily only about being bold or only talking about some, you know, 40-year-old sexual escapades. It's not about that.
Sure.
The show, it deals with a 40-year-old woman who comes out of a 19-year marriage, you know, who's separated from her husband and then basically re-enters a world where if she's looking for a relationship or if she's looking for love, the entire rules of dating have completely changed from 20 years ago, you know. So she's now existing in a world of swipe right, swipe left that she doesn't understand at all because she's a bit old school, you know. And it's learning how to survive or look for love in a world that exists today. And I think for me, the big reason to come on and do this show was that I was very, very impressed that Lionsgate Play was coming into India, making its foray in here. And the first show that they picked to do as an Indian original had a protagonist who's in her 40s. You don't, I mean, that cohort, that segment doesn't really get spoken to that much, that segment of audience. Women
Especially their sexuality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, women between 35 and 55. You don't address any of those issues. They're always either the pure mothers or they're the long-suffering wives or they're, you know, the epitome of what a woman is supposed to be and everything else about us is disregarded. So I was very impressed that Lionsgate wanted to do that with a show like this, and I had great fun doing it.
But was there any point when you were reading the script where you were like, wait, what? That happens today?
Yes. Yes. And look, for me to come on board, I mean, obviously, as an actor, I would want to be able to sort of explore every single facet that is possibly there for me as an actor to explore. But in India, where I'm not just an actor, I'm also someone's wife. I'm also a mother of a 9-year-old. You know, I'm also a daughter-in-law. Fortunately or unfortunately for us, we've been dictated to by society for the longest time ever. And there's a kind of a conditioning that's settled into us. It's ingrained into us. So of course, if I'm going to come on board and do a show like this, that is going to be slightly more demanding of me in terms of exposure or in terms of even getting out of a comfortable kind of a space that you've gotten into. It takes a little bit of thinking out to do. So for me, it was very important to discuss the show, discuss the situations in the show with Mahesh, my husband, you know, to figure out how comfortable was I, how far do I want to go, you know, what would the repercussions of that would be.
What were these discussions like?
No, it was just that. So I'm very clear in as Lara as to, you know, what my sort of safety zones are, what my limits are, you know, so I'm very clear about that. I've never really been a prude ever in my life, you know, so I do know that I don't have a problem, and I have done it before. I have no problem with kissing on screen, only because I also know as an actor how technical these scenes are to shoot. I mean, these scenes don't happen when you get onto set and you don't throw two actors together and say, oh, now make out and let's see some chemistry happen, you know. I mean, they happen right from the time, from paper, from the time that they're written. You know, so you have inputs as an actor. If you're lucky enough to have a wonderful director like Kunal Kohli, he's very open to suggestions, to understanding. He wants his actors to be as comfortable as possible in a scene before it's shot. So nothing is coming to you as a surprise. No one is suddenly saying, oh, put your strap 1 inch lower or anything like that. So there's no uncomfortableness, there's no sleaze going on screen, you know, there's while you're shooting on set. So it's all very well thought out, and like you would choreograph an action scene in an action movie, you choreograph an intimate scene for a show or a movie that demands that kind of intimacy on it. So it's very technical. You would normally have about easily 100 people on set around you. So there's nothing, it is
romantic about
the
it.
The emotion quotient is 0. The technical quotient is 100.
But I did want to ask you, it can't be easy. What are the challenges of just shooting a sex comedy right?
So like you said, it's a comedy, right? So it's not even about, it's about actually getting people to feel. So for Vasu, she's stepping into uncharted waters. There's a lot of uncomfortableness in her, you know, and there's a lot of vulnerability also that's exposed. So I think for me, as an actor, to create something like that that's believable actually calls on a lot of acting skills.
That wax does hurt.
You know, exactly.
I know.
And it's also being relatable, as you said, you know. So for me as Lara, if you are that kind of awkwardness that comes in, if that's what the scene demands, that actually works better for the scene, you know, it kind of works. But of course, you don't lay eyes on your actor for the first time only when you get, you know, under the sheets. You obviously have a rapport with them. You know what they're doing. And to be very honest, when we're shooting things like this, we're all very, very protective of each other. So we're always making sure that the other person is not uncomfortable at any given point of time, you know, and you actually go out of your way as an actor to make sure that the actor that you're with, you know, you have you can have like a safety, you know, kind of a word. You can just have, you know, something you can just say, cut, you know, I'm just not comfortable with something like this. But no, you never even actually get to that point. You know, you never even get there. So it's always, even when it's cut, if there is, you know, even if you're supposedly lying in bed and it's supposed to suggest that you have nothing on, an actor will actually make sure that they will pass you a jacket, or they will pass you a shawl, or they will pass you something while the shot is being set up. You know, so you feel very secure, you feel very safe. There's no one is being exploited through any of it. So
No, but you touched upon what I was actually getting to, and like you said, you do belong to a very distinguished couple in India. Does that in any way impact or burden your cinematic choices largely?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've never felt that way. I've never been made to feel that way by Mahesh either. I mean, he totally and completely understands. Both of us are self-made professionals. We've been, we didn't get into our careers after we met each other. We are who we are because of, you know, what we've been able to accomplish in our lives. So he's very clear about who his wife is and what she does and what her job is. And he's also very clear and confident and secure in who his wife really is. So I think, you know, when you have those tick boxes kind of checked, then it's about getting in there and doing your job, and you'll see it. I mean, I know the trailer looks very racy and very bold and very, whatever, but I would love for people to see the show, because there's so much more in the show than just, getting in under the sheets.
Yeah. Well, you didn't tell me what you learnt about 21st century dating. I want to know as well. I met my husband, 18 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. No, but really the rules, I mean, people keep asking me, have you ever been on a dating site? I mean, obviously not. They didn't exist at the time that I was dating. I've been married now for 11 years. So, not intending on getting on one in a hurry now.
But I know there was a fake profile or something.
Oh, well, there are lots of those, I'm sure, with my image on it, on many profiles. But but this whole, I'm fascinated by it. I actually helped a friend of mine set up their profile on Tinder. He's divorced, single man.
The gift of the gab. I think you're a good friend to have then.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just like, I want to make you a profile.
Vicariously swiping.
But then, for the longest time now, I haven't actually asked him whether there's been any swiping on that site, I mean, on that profile or not. But I think, so what I've learned is also, it's become like a very quick, it's like a quicker revolving door. Like, people now don't really want to invest more time than just a coffee or a chai. So if there's no spark, or if this conversation is not crackling, it's like next, which I feel actually quite bad about that, because it's impossible to get to know somebody. Exactly, or at least 2 or 3 times that you go out, that you actually figure out whether this person is worth it or not. I mean, sometimes off the bat that this person is definitely not it. The other drawback is also, you never know what you're getting, because someone's profile looks completely different from what actually shows up, but I find that all these rules now, this new, process it's just too fast for me.
Do you worry for your daughter?
I do, but I think at least Saira's only 9 years old now, so I hope I'm a long way off from actually having to deal with any of this. So I'm not getting to that bridge until I get to it.
What kind of dad does he have? Does she have? I mean,
like all dads, she has a dad whose gun is always loaded, right?
But I actually am a mother to a boy. So I wanted to ask someone who's raising a girl, what advice would you give me about raising a boy today? Like, what do you worry about?
So I'll tell you, and I've had this conversation with friends of mine who also are mothers raising boys, right?
I think there's pressure.
There's definitely pressure. I don't think it's any easier, but I feel that, we're raising, with everything that's happened, and movements that have happened in India over the last couple of years, with many different campaigns, with the Me Too campaign, with women standing up, women's rights, women standing up for themselves a lot more, coming to the forefront in a lot more different industries like they never have before, or haven't been given the opportunities before. That we're raising really strong girls right now, right? We're raising girls who are being taught that the way that they're treated by men has to be a certain way, that they don't have to take,
as simple as that.
And that they don't have to take anybody putting them down or undermining them. So we're actually raising a generation of really strong girls who are going to be really strong, powerful women of the future. But unfortunately, we're not raising the boys, because we're raising boys. Today, boys are frightened, right? So I know male contemporaries, friends, who now say, even if they never had any intention of ever harassing a woman, but now feel that tomorrow a woman could turn around and accuse them of something. Absolutely. And by default, the women are going to get the benefit of the doubt, right? So this is a genuine concern that men have. So today, they don't know, when they go out talking about dating, when they go out on a date, things that previously used to be, flippant or said in a joke, today they're walking on eggshells. They don't really know what is going to tick a woman off or make her feel that, oh, she's been disrespected, or she's been, sort of sexually harassed. So you're raising men who don't know how to actually handle or deal these really powerful women that are coming their way in another couple of years. And, so I believe that apart from teaching your sons to be good, to be respectful of women, to be mindful of, what their needs are, I think we also need to be equipping our sons to really be ready to meet this force of reckoning that's heading their way. Because I promise you, mothers are rearing their girls to be ambitious, to be go-getters, to realize that, nothing should stand in their way of them achieving what their dreams are. And I just hope they're going to have the men that are going to be men enough for women like that.
You also often refer to yourself as a woman's woman, which is so wonderful, and God knows we need more of that. But I'm curious to know, were you let down by women in your career that made you feel like you need to champion this more?
Not more, I would say, than what was expected. So let me put it that way. I feel that for the longest time, women have been other women's worst enemies. We've been each other's worst enemies because opportunities were very far and few. So because of the lack of opportunities, for the few opportunities that were there, the women that were, well, ambitious enough, or the women that were capable enough, have literally had to claw each other out of the way to be able to grab those. But that's changing today. Today, that opportunity field itself has expanded so much more. There's so many more. I mean, I see it in my own business, and I think the advent of OTT has been fantastic for women in the industry, in the entertainment industry in India. Yeah. Today, you have far more women writers, producers, directors, cinematographers, in an otherwise very, very male-dominated industry. So I just feel that, so I can't say that I've experienced it any more than what was expected.
But you came in prepared.
I think maybe I did, but I feel I've always been a woman's woman. I've always felt that the only way to really create more of those opportunities is to do it together. And I feel that when you lift women up along with you, that ride just because I love stepping onto set now and having a crew that is inclusive and has at least 50% of women on crew. It makes me so happy, It just changes the entire environment, but also changes the entire sensibilities of of the content that you're creating.
Yeah.
So I just feel that I've always been that, and I've had amazing women in my life. It takes a village to be able to go out there and be a working mom.
Ask us.
So and I couldn't do it without the women that I have in my life. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's also wonderful to see the fond bond you share with your girlfriends, like say Priyanka or Dia. Yeah. What's it like when you guys get together? You've had some shared struggles, right? You've seen it together.
We have, but and we pick up exactly where we've left off, I mean, we've known each other. I've known these two girls since they were 17 and 18 years old, and I was 20 when we did Femina Miss India together at that time. Yeah. And we've seen each other through everything. We've seen each other through extreme lows, through the beginnings of our careers, to the highs of our careers. We've seen each other through the loss of parent. We've seen each other through the birth of our kids. So there's a lot of shared experiences and history. And we live in different, Dia of course lives here in Mumbai, and so do I. Priyanka now lives, in the States. But whenever we see each other, we never feel like there's been a gap. I think we're still somewhere in our heads, the 17, 18 and 20-year-old, so we still giggle and goof around. It's just that in the periphery, we've had husbands and children and everything that have kind of had to fall in line with what our equation is. But I think it's really special to have relationships that go back that long.
I can imagine. And I know you've said you really enjoy comedy, and there are few actors who so naturally are good at it. But I want to know from you, is there a facet to yourself as an artist that you'd also like filmmakers to perhaps notice?
Well, I think I was able to do that with my choice of doing Bellbottom, earlier this year. And I think for me, I've always felt that I've gone... So the reason that I actually did a lot of comedy through my career is, as you said rightly so, there are very few actors who actually can do comedy, one. So I think I was very lucky and very blessed to have the ability as a female actor, and there aren't many female actors at all in the industry, who is able to have a comic timing and sort of present it on screen. But I also, for me, it was a way, especially after I did No Entry, which was the first big comedy film that went, became as huge a hit. As it did. But it gave me a chance to connect with an audience way beyond just being a glamorous Miss Universe, because otherwise you're only associated with glamour. And I felt that I was more than just that. So with being able to do comedy, it actually gave me a chance to connect with my audiences, for them to see me beyond just being a former model or a former Miss Universe or just a glam face. And which is why I enjoyed it. And I did, followed on by doing Partner and Houseful and Bhagam Bhag and I don't know, Sing Is Bling and how many ever other comedy films that came after. But there's also more to me than just comedy, you know, and very rarely are you given the chance in your career, especially when you're younger, because invariably people want to cast a glamorous face. There are 5 actors to choose from, you know, you get cast into it.
Yeah.
But playing Mrs. Gandhi on screen gave me a chance to actually show a different facet of myself that I've never had been able to do before. Unfortunately, it's taken the industry 18 years to cast me in something like that, because now by industry standards, I'm maturer and older, and therefore you know, now able to be cast. I could have played Mrs. Gandhi when I was 30. I don't think it would have been I would have played her any differently, you know. Sure, I mean, life experiences give you a certain amount of maturity to also play characters and bring that kind of gravitas to them. But yeah, so I'm excited. I was excited to do something like that, and I think that really opened up a gamut of opportunities for me, which are now coming my way.
I want to ask, does the phone not stop ringing? Is that true?
Well, it's amazing because it's ringing with the right kind of work now, you know. So people see you, suddenly went like a bulb went off.
She can do that too.
Why didn't we think of that, you know? And yeah, I honestly feel that at this stage, I'm having possibly the best time of my life as an actor.
That is so amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you, now that your kid is in school and the opportunities are better, I don't want to call it a comeback or a second innings or any of that jazz, but what can we see? What do you want to do? What's exciting you right now?
Well, touch wood, COVID has been very kind to me.
Said no one ever,
and to most actors. So since everybody was kind of locked into their homes and consuming content rather rapidly, we've been one of the few professions that have fared very well. So it's been an incredibly busy year for me through the entire of 2020, 2021, and I've done a hell of a lot of work. So of course, I've got this show for Lionsgate. I had Bellbottom that released earlier. I've got another show that I've done with MA Entertainment that's coming out, which is another quite a big, lovely, fabulous series. Like I said, lots of interesting work coming my way in terms of both film and OTT as well. So yeah, it's a good run.
It is, and I can't be more thrilled. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's also not a bad way to spend the morning.
Not at all. So I wish all interviews were like this. You just get up, wear whatever you were wearing, no headache, no hassle. It's good. Next time I will also do it. Unfortunately, I had to put some makeup on because we're doing a whole round of promotions today without any time. But next time I would like to do it without makeup on either. Cheers.
Cheers. It's not often you hear an actress say that, I'm telling you. So that's also very refreshing.
Maybe lazy actresses, a little bit. Hey guys, I was on Spill the Tea with Sneha on Film Companion, and if you like this video, then subscribe to Film Companion.